family, the Israelites, and he offered them his wisdom. It was called the Torah.
This is really good. What type of animation is this? What's good, you guys? My name is ReboundLeader. Welcome back with another video. Happy New Year's. May God bless you. May God keep you for 2024. Our theme and our Discord is basically to put on the full armor of God during 2024. So I wanted to try something different. This is not what I usually react to, but I wanted to check this out. You know what I'm saying? I am a huge fan of BibleProject's videos, and we're going to be reacting to When is God's Will Done on Earth? Sermon on the Mount, episode 1. So let's get right to it.
If you've ever heard of Jesus of Nazareth, you probably know he was a famous teacher, and his most well-known words have shaped the lives of billions of people throughout history.
Love your neighbor as yourself. Do to others what you would have them do to you.
Now, those sayings come from a collection of Jesus' teaching that's sometimes called the Sermon on the Mount. It's only 3 chapters long, but its ideas and images have endured throughout time.
3 chapters long, but bro, when I read that, it hit me right in the soul. It was only 3 chapters, but it hits like crazy. Oh my goodness, bro. This is gonna be nice.
You are the salt of the earth.
I'm too excited for this.
You can't serve both God and money.
Yep.
Take the plank out of your eye before you take the speck out of another's.
In the sermon are some really challenging teachings.
If anyone strikes you on the cheek, turn and offer him the other cheek. Love your enemy and bless those who persecute you.
And there are also some really puzzling teachings.
If your hand causes you to sin, cut it off.
But the Sermon on the Mount is not a random collection
Not
of
literal,
Jesus'
not literal.
teachings.
But,
They've been organized in a beautiful way so that it's easier to remember and meditate on. There are 3 main parts of the sermon, the middle of which has 3 parts, and then each of those middle parts themselves have 3 parts.
Wow,
that's crazy.
The sermon has been carefully designed.
Yes, and right at the center of the center is the famous prayer that Jesus taught his followers.
Yep. Our Father in heaven, may your name be treated as holy. May your kingdom come. May your will be done on earth as it is in heaven.
Amen.
And what does that mean for God's kingdom to come on earth?
Well, we have to remember that Jesus was Jewish, and he grew up meditating on the Hebrew Bible, the sacred scriptures of Israel. And they told the story of God and all humanity.
How God created a well-ordered world and appointed humans to rule it on his behalf.
And when humans rule with God's wisdom and love, and when justice and peace prevail, and there's enough for everyone, that is God's kingdom and God's will being done here on earth as it is in heaven.
And that's no easy task. Humans foolishly rebel and start building their own kingdoms by their own wisdom.
And so God chose one family, the Israelites, and he offered them his wisdom. It was called the Torah.
This is really good. What type of animation is this? This is unbelievable. But yeah, he's talking about, they're explaining the part when it says, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. And they're explaining it pretty well right now. I'm agreeing with what they're saying right now. I might be confused on 1 or 2 things, because when I think of thy kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven, I'm thinking of his will that's in heaven will be done on earth. That's what it could be obviously interpreted different ways apparently, but I'm just thinking because of that. His will on earth hasn't been fully completed yet, because he still needs to come back, millennial kingdom with Christ, you know what I'm saying, when he comes back. That's what I'm thinking. But this is really good. This is really
rebel and start building their own kingdoms by their own wisdom.
And so God chose one family, the Israelites, and he offered them his wisdom. It was called the Torah, which in Hebrew means the teaching. And beginning with Moses on Mount Sinai, God entered into a sacred covenant with them.
Why only select one family?
Well, the goal was for the Israelites to be transformed by God's wisdom so that they could represent God's kingdom before all the nations.
But in Jesus' day, God's kingdom was nowhere to be seen. In fact, Israel was under the thumb of Roman oppressors. So what happened? Why isn't God's
Romans, man? These Romans don't quit.
Many religious leaders, like the scribes and the Pharisees, they thought it wasn't coming because Israel wasn't being...
Yeah, these dudes right here are absolute hypocrites. Spiritually blinded, boastful, prideful individuals. There's a whole bunch of scribes and Pharisees today.
Being faithful enough to the Torah. Other leaders, called the Sadducees, thought it would be best if Israel found a way to cooperate with Rome, and so they became the power brokers of Jesus' day.
Some ran for the hills to become freedom fighters against Rome.
They're known as the Zealots.
And still others withdrew to the desert, waiting for God to use them to start a new Israel.
But walk around the hill country of Israel, like Jesus did, and you'll mostly find normal people figuring out their lives as best they can. Most were barely hanging on, lots of poor and sick people. Many had lost their land to the Roman occupiers and were struggling to pay the heavy taxes.
They were powerless and hopeless.
These tax collectors,
And so
bro.
Jesus went to these people, healing the sick and announcing that God's kingdom was arriving. People gathered from all over to hear his teachings. And one day, Jesus went up to a tall hill and said the arrival of God's kingdom was starting here and now with them.
You mean with the powerless, the weak, the nobodies? God's kingdom begins here?
Yes, this is why the very first line of the Sermon on the Mount is, "Blessed are the poor in spirit." In other words, where can you go and see God's presence and blessing springing to life? Among the rich? Among the powerful? No, Jesus says. Look where people are poor, where they feel crushed and defeated. God's kingdom is beginning with the people standing right here.
Amen. That's a great way to get into just 3 verses I wanted to bring up. Psalms 41, 1 and 2. Blessed is he who considers the poor. The Lord will deliver him in the time of trouble. The Lord will preserve him and keep him alive, and he will be blessed on the earth. You will not deliver him to the will of his enemies. Amen. You consider the poor. If you think about it like this, you have YouTube, you have a computer or a phone, you have a roof over your head, you have food on the table, you know what I'm saying? You have a beautiful house, or you have an apartment, wherever you are, situation you're in, you have clothes on your back, and there's people out there, especially how crazy it is today, living on the street. Blessed is he who considers the poor. These people, Jesus went to these people first. He didn't go to these rich people. He didn't go to these scribes and Pharisees that are boastful and prideful and try to counsel with them. No, he went to the needy. That's what we should be doing. Helping out in the shelter, whatever the case, whatever you can do. Blessed is he who considers the poor. The Lord will deliver them from trouble. You're delivering, and this is funny because the reason why I like this verse is because the Lord is using you to deliver someone else from trouble while he will deliver you from trouble as well. And I love that verse. Another one, Psalms 72, 12 to 14. For he will deliver the needy when he cries, the poor also, and him who has no helper. He will spare the poor and needy, and will have the souls of the needy. He will redeem their lives from oppression and violence, and precious shall be their blood in his sight. Amen. Amen. He will deliver the needy when they cry. There will be a time there will be no such thing as famine, no such thing as pain, suffering, trauma, oppression, none of that, no more as Christ comes down. Amen. Proverbs 14:21. He who despises his neighbor sins, but he who has mercy on the poor, happy is he. That's what I'm talking about. That's why he's the MVP. That's why he's the GOAT. The GOAT. Bro, I love this, man. I love the Bible, bro. I don't know about y'all, but I love the Bible. This is amazing. He who despises his neighbor sins. We all know that verse that says, love thy neighbor as you love yourself. Well, what happens if you don't? Well, sinning. You should be loving yourself as you love your neighbor. If you don't, then you're sinning against yourself and other people. Sinning against your spirit, your body, your soul, and others. But he who has mercy on the poor, happy is he. Happy is he. I feel like that can also be called blessed is he. Blessed is he, happy is he. Have you ever tried to help the poor, help the needy, help the hungry? Have you ever tried, even if you see like someone saying, oh, we're raising money for this, or someone that has cancer, or someone that has a surgery that they can't afford. You know, you see someone in the street and they're asking for money. They're like, do you have $5? Do you have change? Do you have anything? And you're like, nah, let me go and actually buy you a meal. And you do it. How do you feel after? You feel happy. You feel warmth. You feel comfort. Blessed are you. Happy is you. Wow. Okay, so that's the end.
The Sermon on the Mount has an intentional design. It begins with Jesus pronouncing several blessings on his listeners.
And those blessings are what we're going to look at next.
All right, that will be the end of the video. This series is going to be very, very good. I would suggest y'all subscribe to BibleProject, turn on those notifications so when they post their new one, I think next week Monday, then you get notified and you can watch it. I will not be reacting to it once again for the second episode or the third because I will be away. Fourth and the fifth one, I should be able to react to. All right, yeah, I feel like that'll be the end of the video, guys. God bless y'all. If you want more of these, then let me know. Comment down below your opinions on this video. This was a really good anime. This is very different. This is like a comic book type of animation, but I really like it. I'll catch y'all later. Take care. God bless. Happy New Year. May God bless you. May God keep you in 2024. This is going to be a really interesting, blessed year. Put on that full armor of God, and I'll catch y'all later. Take care. Peace.
You win. Perfect.